Hey, what's up? This is Mikey for Electrek, and I am here with the gang from Unplugged Performance. We've got the driver, we have the president, and we also have the engineer. So let's go ahead and fire away. So I'd like to ask, what have you done to modify the car, first and foremost?
So this car is basically a street car that we turned into a race car to satisfy the regulations for Pikes Peak. We call this car the Ascension R program. We basically make complete cars like this that are street driven, which is why you don't see huge diffusers and wings. But this car has a lot of upgrades. It has all of our suspension components, our brake components, our CFD tested aerodynamics, and we're running some pretty wide sticky tires on it for the race today. And the interesting thing about this car is it was a brand new car from Tesla a month ago, and we basically built this car to validate our street car program and to put a car together quickly. We've only run it twice, once at Buttonwillow, once at Laguna Seca, and both times we broke the track records there. And to our own surprise, we ended up beating the record that the Tesla Plaid tri-motor car had at Laguna Seca with this guy right here behind the wheel. So we're off to a great start, and we're excited to see what this challenge will be today at Pikes Peak.
So regarding the challenge, when you're driving, do you anticipate anything new about driving a car that is, almost stock?
Well, what's different about an electric car is a lot. For one, in this case, no gears. So there's no shifting. Two, it's silent. So there's not the aural feedback from an engine. It's just quiet power. Two, a very broad power band. That would be three. Three, a very broad power band. What's interesting is that as we go up in altitude, the electric car will not lose power. Electrons don't care about high altitude the way an air petroleum engine does, which is basically everything else that runs here. So that's a huge advantage for Tesla. Also, it has all-wheel drive. It's a dual motor. It's a Model 3 Performance that we're based on. So it's driving one motor on the front wheels, one on the rear, and we can adjust the power distribution front to rear. This is something else I've never had in a race car before. So I'm really looking forward to giving the car a try. And it is far faster than it looks. It really looks a lot like a normal street car with a kind of a sinister wide body on it. A lot of carbon fiber. It's a lot lighter than a normal Tesla. But the drivetrain is pretty much as delivered, right guys?
Yeah, correct. Aside from the stripped out interior, this car would still have most of its warranty intact if it were a street car. And actually autopilot still works as well, which is pretty funny. Craig inside the car had a video of him driving down the street with autopilot with a full stripped out interior. So yeah, it's a race car, but the beauty of Tesla is that they're talented cars that have many different things, and this is one of those cars where it'll be real fast on the track and it can autopilot home. And I think that's great that we kept that part of Tesla with the car.
Seems like maybe I should try autopilot once on the way up, see if it can beat me.
Better watch out a few more years. I don't know. Those programmers don't play around at Tesla.
I believe it.
They're watching us. They might actually download the code of your run and program it in themselves.
Yeah, I hope so. I actually had the honor of doing the track mode for the Tesla Model 3, the first edition. I was a driver consultant on that.
Yeah.
So I have some history working with Tesla, and it was a pleasure. 2 engineers, one afternoon at a racetrack in Southern Cal, and we made the car into a track-capable machine. Unplugged Performance has just taken it a whole quantum leap further.
Great. So, sorry. I'd like to hear more about that quantum leap.
So some of the challenges that we faced was mostly a lot of suspension stuff. So for the suspension tuning, we ended up doing a lot of stuff similar to it's a double wishbone car up front. And the issue that we found was that the car has so much of the weight down low that it actually putting different size bars on the car will actually affect it a lot, because it almost works independently to where one wheel will lift the other one based on how much grip it has. So that was one of the big challenges that we faced. Was we had essentially too stiff of a car to where it was losing grip. Some of the other things that we changed were some prototype cooling has gone on through the car in an effort to try and keep everything colder, hopefully run faster lap times more consistently and for longer. Along with all that, the braking upgrades have been huge with the car. Carbon ceramics up front with some massive 15.5-inch rotors. Definitely helps keep the brake temps down low while maintaining stopping power all the way through. So because Tesla runs the battery pack underneath the car and the drive units are really low to the ground as well, all of the weight is pretty much found in the very first, I would say in the very first 25 inches from the ground, probably less than that. and it maintains the whole car really, really flat through all these corners. So the car is already pretty impressive on the track stock, and we've just taken it and elevated it a little bit further. Because that battery is so far down, and because of where the motors are and the fact that there's two of them, the car actually comes with a almost 50-50 weight ratio from factory front to rear.
Great. And do you expect to win?
Well, we're in the exhibition class, so for us, it's funny, we didn't expect to beat the tri-motor plaid car at Laguna. We're just trying to make the fastest car we can make. I don't really have any predictions other than that we're just validating what we know to already work. And it's been going well so far. We got a hell of a driver behind the wheel. And we're as interested in pushing the limit of a street car as far as it can go. And I think we're starting to get there. One of the things about our business is we invest a lot into R&D. So anyone that follows us on social media will have seen that we have 52 weeks straight of product announcements every Wednesday. That's a lot of products. So we're still going through it. This Wednesday we'll launch another product, we'll have it go live, and we have enough things that we're doing to these cars that every week for a year we're going to be developing something new. So even though we're kind of at the limits of where we are today, we're going to keep pushing the limits. But the boundaries of this car are basically a car that I would still want to drive to work, drive to the supermarket, and drive home comfortably. And the only shame about Pikes Peak is that we couldn't run a full interior and no cage. Otherwise, you'd get some of that feeling. So that's the only thing that's a little bit hard to communicate looking at the car, is that it really can be a street car with the interior and the cage out. And we'll make another car to illustrate that point.
I hope that it goes very well for you. I'm very impressed with your guys' company and all the performance upgrades that you've done with Tesla, and especially offering that for the public, because I know that a lot of times when people see a race like this, it seems so distant from something that they could drive down the street. And so I'm very, very happy that this exists. So thank you very much for the interview. I wish you guys the best of luck tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Thank
you so much.
Yeah. Bye-bye.